Remember when your parents' Eddie Bauer Ford Explorer was the coolest car on the block? When that green SUV with the tan leather seats meant your family had made it? Well, I've got some bad news. Eddie Bauer just filed for bankruptcy. Again, for the third time in 20 years. But here's the crazy part. This is the same company that outfitted the first American to climb Mount Everest, invented the quilted down jacket, and, at one point, sold over 1 million special edition Ford vehicles. So how did a brand that literally conquered the highest peak on Earth end up at rock bottom? Stick around, because this story has more twists than a mountain trail. Hi everyone. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button because we break down the biggest business collapses in real time. On February 9th, 2026, just days ago, Eddie Bauer LLC filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, and the company is now liquidating approximately 180 stores across the United States and Canada. But before we get into what went wrong, let me tell you something that'll blow your mind. This isn't Eddie Bauer's first rodeo with bankruptcy. It's not even their second. This is bankruptcy number 3. And honestly, that fact alone tells you everything you need to know about what we're about to uncover. Let's rewind the clock and see how a legendary outdoor brand that dressed mountain climbers became a cautionary tale about retail survival. The glory days. Picture this. It's 1920 in Seattle, Washington. A guy named Eddie Bauer, yeah, that's his actual name, opens a small shop called Bauer Sports Shop. He's an avid outdoorsman who started the company in Seattle, and he's got a vision. But Eddie wasn't just selling fishing rods and tents. In 1936, he created an American goose-down insulated jacket, known as the Skyliner, which became the company's first patented jacket. This was revolutionary. Before this, people were freezing their butts off in the outdoors. Fast forward to 1963, and here's where it gets legendary. The company outfitted James W. Whitaker with an Eddie Bauer parka when he became the first American to climb Mount Everest. Think about that. The highest point on Earth. Negative 40-degree temperatures. Hurricane-force winds. And this guy is wearing Eddie Bauer. That's the ultimate product placement you can't buy. But the real genius move? The partnership with Ford. In 1984, Eddie Bauer began a cross-branding partnership with Ford Motor Company to produce Eddie Bauer Edition Ford vehicles, with the first Eddie Bauer Edition Ford, the limited edition Eddie Bauer Bronco, debuting that same year. Then in 1991, they launched the Eddie Bauer Ford Explorer, and boom, cultural phenomenon. These weren't just cars. They were status symbols. You could immediately tell whose parents were making a bit more money than yours if they drove up to the school drop-off in a Ford with that now iconic beige goldish trim surrounding the wheel arches. Hunter green exterior, all leather interior. That Eddie Bauer Goose logo stitched into the seats. It screamed, "We go camping, but make it luxury." By 1999, Ford had sold 1 million Eddie Bauer Edition vehicles. Let me repeat that. 1 million. At their peak in 2001, Eddie Bauer operated nearly 600 stores worldwide. They were everywhere. The mall, catalogs, your dad's SUV. Eddie Bauer was a brand that said, "I'm outdoorsy, but I also have a 401k. The first cracks. But here's where the warning signs started flashing. In 2003, Eddie Bauer's parent company Spiegel filed for bankruptcy, and Eddie Bauer got dragged down with them. Strike one. They restructured and emerged in 2005, but the damage was done. The retail landscape was changing. Fast forward to June 2009. Eddie Bauer filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection again and was acquired at bankruptcy auction by Golden Gate Capital in July 2009 with a winning bid of $286 million. 2 bankruptcies in 6 years. That's not bad luck, that's a pattern. At this point, the writing was on the wall, but the company kept changing hands like a hot potato. Golden Gate Capital sold them in 2021 to Spark Group, an Authentic Brands group. Oh, and remember those iconic Ford Explorers? The partnership that made Eddie Bauer a household name? The partnership officially ended in 2010, with the Explorer and Expedition being the last gasp of the outdoors but luxurious collaboration. Without Ford, Eddie Bauer lost its biggest marketing tool and cultural relevance. The final collapse. So what killed Eddie Bauer this time? Spoiler alert, it wasn't just one thing. It was everything hitting at once. Problem number 1, the pandemic hangover. The The company said its financial headwinds were exacerbated by tariff uncertainty and inflation, alongside weaker demand for outdoor apparel since the pandemic surge. During COVID, everyone became an outdoor enthusiast. Suddenly, Karen from accounting was buying hiking boots, and Dave from IT was purchasing tents. Sales exploded, but what goes up must come down. When the pandemic ended, people stopped pretending they liked camping. Problem number 2, years of neglect. Mark Rosen, the chief executive of Catalyst Brands, which owns the Eddie Bauer brand, stated, while the leadership team at Catalyst was able to make significant strides in the brand, including rapid improvements in product development and marketing, those changes could not be implemented fast enough to fully address the challenges created over several years. Problem number 3, supply chain chaos and tariffs. The operators cited declining sales and supply chain challenges, and more recently, ongoing inflation, tariff uncertainty, and other headwinds as reasons for the filing. The Trump administration's tariffs hit them hard. Remember, Eddie Bauer was competing with cheap imports. When those tariffs changed the game, their margins got crushed. Problem number 4, the death of mall culture. Here's the big one. Eddie Bauer never evolved beyond the mall. While competitors like Patagonia built cult followings and strong e-commerce platforms, Eddie Bauer was stuck in 1995. They had nearly 600 stores at their peak, but by 2026, they were down to 180. According to Eddie Bauer's website, the company currently has 13 locations across Pennsylvania, and those stores are now holding liquidation sales with everything marked 40 to 60% off. Malls are dying, and Eddie Bauer went down with the ship. Court papers indicate a total funded debt of about $1.7 billion. Let that sink in. $1.7 billion in debt. They lost $82 million in 2024 and another $80 million in 2025. That's $162 million in losses in just 2 years. What happens next? So what now? Right now, Eddie Bauer retail locations outside the US and Canada are operated by other licensees, are not included in the Chapter 11 proceedings, and will continue to trade in the ordinary course. Also, the bankruptcy will not impact Eddie Bauer's manufacturing, wholesale, e-commerce operations, or retail operations outside the US and Canada. So technically, Eddie Bauer isn't completely dead. The website still works. The brand might get sold. Someone might swoop in and buy the stores. But let's be real. If a buyer for part or all of the retail footprint does not emerge, the US and Canadian stores operated by the LLC could close. The iconic green storefronts, the mall locations you've walked past for decades, they're probably done. Here's what blows my mind about this story. Eddie Bauer had everything. They had history. They had credibility. They literally dressed the guy who climbed Mount Everest. And they had one of the most successful brand partnerships in automotive history. But they made 3 fatal mistakes. 1, they never adapted beyond the mall. While everyone else was building online communities and direct-to-consumer brands, Eddie Bauer was stuck in 1999. 2, they bet on the outdoor boom lasting forever. Newsflash. Trends don't last forever. The pandemic outdoor craze was temporary, and they should have seen it coming. 3 bankruptcies in 20 years means the problem wasn't bad luck. It was a broken business model. At some point, you have to admit the patient can't be saved. This isn't just about Eddie Bauer. This is about an entire generation of mall brands that are facing extinction. Forever 21, bankrupt. Francesca's just filed this month too. Even Saks is struggling. The retail apocalypse is real, and it's accelerating. So here's my question for you. Did you own any Eddie Bauer gear? Did your parents have that iconic Ford Explorer? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you want to stay updated on the latest business collapses and financial disasters, because let's be honest, there are more coming, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Next week, we're covering another bankruptcy that just dropped. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.